Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fifth and final day of the No Corona Zone. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. And I'm so happy to be here with you. I feel fantastic. I feel wonderful. And I am so happy that I do. Now, I'm going to share some stuff with you. Forgive me as I click these buttons. I'm gonna share some stuff with you tonight. But I'm here with Olaf Barbosa. How you doing, Olaf?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. It's just another great day in the state of Indiana. It's like I have actually finally moved to a I am now a moved to the professional level of recliner surfing. I have done so much of it in the last week that I am now a professional recliner surfer.
I can do that job. I can definitely do that job. Okay, so I am not a drinker, but this the C word has made me drove me to drink. So the first day I had a glass of wine.
What do you got tonight?
Second day, okay, so first day I had a glass of wine. Second day I had it was rum and coke. Then I had vodka, Ciroc, and cranberry juice or cran tropical. Then I had on then after that I had gin and juice. So today we're doing brandy tonight.
You doing brandy? Such a
Brandy
fine girl.
with a little coke.
Oh, there you go.
Freezer is broken still.
Uh,
So unfortunately, I have to do this without not on the rocks. I know the real hardcore drinkers, right? They you know, I'm not a big brandy person. I see
the
somebody in the audience going, "Guh." I'm not a big brandy person either. But you know what? Hey, why not? I don't drink much anyway, so
it's like hardcore. What they do is they take the can of Coke on one side of the mouth, they take the brandy on the other side of the mouth, and they just kind of tip them up and let it mix as it goes in.
right. Yeah, that's funny. That is funny. So got my drink.
I got my big red. I'm good.
Not bad. All right. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. Um, I don't have anything planned generally when we do these things. So I'm just going to make shit up. So, I said I was going to admit to a crime.
Okay.
And since there's not a whole lot of people in the chat room, maybe this is a good time to do it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I am a weird person.
No argument from me. Go ahead.
I have I haven't been formally diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, but I'm pretty sure I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it. Okay, so in my kitchen, perfect timing, D. You get to hear me admit to this. So in my kitchen, we have a sink, right? And a faucet, right? Okay, so there was an issue with the faucet where the knobs was not working properly, right?
No, it wouldn't shut the water off all the way, and you still had a drip.
Uh, Something like that, right?
Okay.
So I was able to fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just needed to be tightened and all of that, right?
Right. Right.
So the thing is, you know how on the faucet you have your hot and cold caps, right?
Right.
Okay. I don't know what happened, but the hot cap
Uh-huh.
was missing.
Okay.
I don't know what I couldn't find it anywhere because you take everything, put it to the side. I couldn't find it. It must have went down the sink, right? So I had the cold one in, and then the hot cap was missing on the faucet, on the knob.
Right.
I don't need it to know which one's hot and which one's cold, but it's just missing, right?
Right. You got a hole in the top of the
A hole in the
faucet.
top.
Yeah.
And like for a month. And it bugged me to no end. I freaking hated that. Like every time I would wash the dishes, that missing cap annoyed me. I don't know.
You get done with the dishes and you'd start looking for the cap again, didn't you?
I couldn't stop obsessing about the stupid cap. Right? I don't even need the cap.
Right.
I thought about, do I just fill it in with something, some kind of putty or something, or what? No, it's gonna bug me every time. No end. So I actually went to the store. I'm not gonna say any name. I went to a store that sells stuff, and I actually looked for replacement handles, and they didn't have anything that would work for what I had.
What you had, right? Sometimes you can buy the caps, but
right. So I'm gonna tell you how crazy I am. Y'all about to find out how. Oh, what's up, Gabe? Y'all about to find out how crazy I am. I actually considered replacing the whole thing just because the cap is missing. I actually thought about buying a whole new faucet, right? Just because the cap is missing. I know that's crazy. Like, I know that's crazy, right?
Right.
So I'm like, so I actually bought, like, they said these were universal handles, right?
Right.
So I bought these universal handles. It didn't work. It ain't that universal, right? It didn't work.
Right.
So I go back to the store and I'm like, well, maybe I can just buy the little cap, right?
Right.
So I found a faucet that was similar to the one I had. And mine is in the wall and it's not in the tub. So it's like an older way, you know?
Right.
There's not a lot of options, right?
No.
So I'm looking at all the models on the wall, right? So I'm like, well, let me see if I can find one. And I plucked one out, right? Of the one in the one that, you know, I believed it would work, right? So I'm holding it up because they're on different aisles, the actual where the handles and the caps, and I'm trying to see if one of these would work, right? Okay. I realized they didn't have it. So now in my head, I'm like, well, I do have the cap in my hand. So I'm like, maybe they'll sell it to me. I started thinking maybe they'll sell it to me, right? Like I was willing to pay. I would have paid probably good money just for the stupid cap because it was annoying me that much. But then I started thinking they ain't gonna give it to me. They're not gonna sell it to me. I kept it. I know that's terrible. That's terrible. I kept it. And when I got back home, it fit perfectly.
So now you have your hot and cold and you're all set.
All is right with the world.
Yes, because now you have purged your indiscretion to the world. And so you are now free, my son. You have purged your demon.
And I'm a very, I'm not a criminal or a crook or anything like that. And I felt bad about it because I'm not but I had to have a cap. It was off the display, but I didn't. Maybe I shouldn't feel too bad because there were other ones that were missing too. So maybe there was other crazy people like me. So hopefully the FBI is not listening and they're not going to come bust in. And if I'm in the joint, you know why. Oh man. So
I say I'll be watching the news and just like going, they got him. It's like you do.
so press
It's a
one,
good thing.
put one in the
Good
chat
thing you
room if
didn't
you
mention
think I'm
him.
crazy. Put two if you think I'm not crazy. But yeah, so yeah, that was but you know what? I'm gonna wash the dishes now. I'm like the H
Mo-
there.
more than likely, depending on depending on the store that you were at,
Uh-huh.
if you'd have found a person that worked there and that's all you needed,
They probably
more than likely they would have given it to you. I mean, kind of, like say, especially if it was off a display model. Now, if it was off a display, that's gets sold off. Eventually, it would get sold off as a discounted piece anyway,
right.
and you take it as is, how is, and all that other stuff. So it's missing the cap. Oh well, you buy another cap. And so I mean, if it happened to be on the display that was the only place you could find one that would fit, more than likely they might have given it to you.
Yeah.
There's a particular store I worked at for a little while, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like if I couldn't have found you a cap and there was one on the display that would probably work out, I probably just said, "Here, take it."
Yeah.
Or taking it, said, "Okay, if it's like to, in other words, I probably would have just given it to you. So I just take it. It ain't gonna hurt nothing because that's like a 50-cent piece of plastic probably. But if nothing else, just to make you feel good, I could. The department I worked in, there was a SKU number I could type in and just you know uh, put in description. So I could have said, okay, how about $1? It's like, give me $1. Okay, there you go.
I'd have
Then
gave like 20. Like that's how much I'm a little upset.
I'd have
I'm
given
shocked
you
I
the
lasted a
receipt.
month. I'm shocked I lasted a month before I
I'd have given I'd have given you the receipt for the $1 and put the 19 in my pocket. So,
but I'd have been so happy. Like that's how I'm shocked I lasted a month before I went in. Like, because I don't know. Like I'll obsess over the smallest shit. It's funny though. It'll be something you would think I would obsess over, right?
right.
No, I won't. But something small, like a little cap on a knob, then I'm just like, I gotta fix it. It's just gonna drive me nuts every time.
Mm.
So I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm just crazy or whatever. But it seems like it's getting worse as I get older too. So maybe I need to be hypnotized or something. So, like maybe I need to go
Well,
see
no,
somebody.
but you say you think you might be OCD.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if you want to, it's like you want to fall into the full OCD category. In other words, everything in the house has to be in a certain place. The house has to be clean at all times. In other words, it can't be, if there's any dust, it would drive you crazy. In other words, it's like if that's how you are. In other words, in your closet, your clothes are all arranged in a particular way and all that stuff. It's like then you're like hardcore OCD.
Yeah,
something like
I'm not
something
that.
like
Thank God.
something like in other words, like that knob bugging you because every time you look at it, it's like I lost that knob. That's not. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's kind of like minor. It's like minor, a little bit of OCD. But it's like It's like you in when I was in SL a lot, and I was you remember my partner Cal,
Mm-hmm.
or Calamity. It's like I would every once in a while do it. I do it every once in a while just to make her crazy.
Mm.
Is like hang a picture and just a little bit askew one way or the other, and that just she was like, oh my God, she'd have to straighten it up. It would drive her nuts.
I know how that feels though. Like like stuff like that. I'll I will obsess over, and it's crazy. And I know it drives other people crazy, and I try to fake it, like it's
Mm-hmm.
not like because I know it's crazy, right? And I'll try to act like it's not a thing, but it is a thing. Like,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's
well, for you though, I mean, that's like you. One of the things you do is, is you work with art and hang art for people like that. So for
Mhm.
you, you can look at a picture and go, it's a 16th of an inch too low on the left hand side. That would make you crazy because that's something that you do for a living. So or living pun, whatever, or both. But that's something that you do. So you would look at a picture or a TV hanging on the wall or something that's hanging on the wall and go, "Oh man, that's out of square."
like
That's
like
yeah.
I'll tell you this: like you see this glass right here.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a slight chip in it, I wouldn't drink from it. Like if there was just slightly chip, you're not supposed to really, but
No, uh, unless you take a glass file and just kind of it's like knock the edge off of it. But like I said, if it's got a chip in it and you don't do anything about it, one of these days you're going to grab that glass and it's going to shatter in your hand.
yeah, I don't know. I just got weird things. Now let me ask this question to you in the audience. Have you ever, I don't know, like this is something I found out about in the last couple of years, and I don't know if people know this. What do you think about you work for a company and your company has a life insurance policy in your name? What do you think? Have you heard about that?
I've not heard of life insurance, but like your 401ks and stuff like that, they do the matching. But I've not heard of a company uh, unless they take a life insurance policy out on you and it's in they put it in your name and you're the beneficiary. If they're the beneficiary of it, then it'd be like, wait a minute.
Right.
But it's like if they're the beneficiary, I'd be like, you need to cancel that or something because no, that would be me. But in other words, I'm not heard of it. But if a company did that and put it into your name as the beneficiary or your survivor, you or your survivor, because unless you're married, uh, you know, and gave it to you, and they paid the premiums, then that's a bonus. I mean, that would be considered a perk or a bonus. But if the company puts their name on there as a beneficiary, yeah, I don't think I'd be working there very long. Be like, y'all gonna bump me off.
Well, okay, so there's a lot of companies apparently that have secret life insurance policies on their employees. So let's say they believe if you're worth $5 million to the company, right? So if you were to
Right,
die, that's about a $5 million loss to the company. When you die, they can collect that money. It don't go to your family or anything like that. It goes to the company
right,
to that basically benefits off of your death.
right.
That is bananas. Now I heard that Walmart keeps life insurance policies on their employees. Um, uh, I know that's crooked, right? Like
No,
I
that
don't know,
yeah,
like if you found out the company you work for secretly had a life insurance policy in your name that you have no, if you were going, if like your family is not going to see a dime of it, that's all for the company. Like, how would y'all feel about that? Like, put it in the chat room. Um, that would definitely make me feel some kind of way, you know?
like I said I wouldn't. That's like I would be if you. To me, if I found out the company did that to me,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, put them as a beneficiary, I'd be like, you better cancel that, or it's like you better be canceling that policy, or it's like putting me on there as a beneficiary or my survivor as a beneficiary. Now, if the company is going to pay it and they put their name and your name on it, then they only get half of it, and then your family would get half of it. It still would be a little bit weird that they didn't tell you that and I wouldn't like it, but I'd be a little bit more okay with it than if it was just in the company's name. If it was just in the company's name, I would be making them cancel the policy and get rid of it. And if they didn't, they would be hearing from my lawyer because that's wrong.
Yeah, Maya says, how does the company know your worth when they try not to pay you at all? Yeah, I mean, that's just like, so you die and they're just like, it sucks Olaf died, but hey, we got 5 million,
So
like,
we got a payday.
right. It's like, no wonder the CEO wasn't crying at your funeral. Like, he's gonna be all right.
It's like, so that's why the owner, the CEO, and the investors and everybody showed up at the funeral. Well, it's like for me, okay, yeah, they just made 5 million. Yep.
Yeah, I don't. That would make me obviously give me pause.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, like a lot of these companies do that. Like, and some of these companies who are notorious for literally killing their employees. And what I mean by killing their employees, they are high stress. They work the hell out of you, right? And people tend to have heart attacks early and stuff. They
Right.
policies because they know what could happen.
Right.
And yeah, it's crazy. It says we don't owe our employers anything except the work we do from 8 to 12 hour shifts. Apparently, they want to benefit off your death.
Right. And you know the with that, and there are jobs that are extremely hazardous. I mean, there's some jobs that are extremely hazardous, and there is a short life expectancy for some jobs. It's just the nature of the job. If you're I said if you're a demolition expert, yeah, your days are numbered because you could wind up somebody could wind up flipping the switch before you're ready, and you're inside the building and getting imploded with the building. Or if you're on a bomb squad, yeah, your days are numbered.
Mm.
Then and there's different jobs in different factories that are extremely hazardous. I mean, you have to wear special gear to go in to these rooms or into these tanks, and they're confined space. And the if your respirator leaks, or if you would hit something and knock it off, you'd last like 3 to 5 minutes before the fumes that were in there would kill you. So yeah, there are a lot of different hazardous stuff.
Mm. A friend of mine told me that she knew a woman who found out that her husband had died, and somehow she found out because the insurance company accidentally called her instead of the company
Ooh,
when he
okay.
died, and she found out $6 million policy on her husband. He worked for some like Lockheed and Martin or some type company
Mm-hmm.
in that, and of course she went ape shit, when she found that out, you know, and their justification was he was a valued worker, and his if he were to die, which he did, it would cause the company a lot of stress, and so this was like a way to um, get that back if they were to lose him.
Yeah, I don't care. I said it doesn't matter how valuable the employee is. that that is wrong.
Right. No, I
In
agree
other
with you.
words,
I think that is wrong as hell.
that is just wrong.
And that's why I stopped the policies on you, Yardley, Jen, Shannon. I just realized it was wrong, so that's why I stopped doing that.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and cancel the one. I guess I'll go ahead and cancel the three that I have on you.
Oh, okay, the three. Hilarious.
Hey, you know what I see in the little chat box on
Mhm,
my phone?
mhm.
I see a little bee. It's like your Vcoin thing is set up, isn't it?
Yeah, I set up the V coin, and the way the V coin works basically is you hit the V button in the top right corner. You buy V coin. It's really cheap. You can get 200 for like $3.99. And anytime you come on Get Vocal and you see some content you like, you can hit the V in the chat room and show some love to the host.
Right.
So,
Now, like I said, you're on a computer and I'm on my. I said I'm using my iPhone for this,
mhm.
and on the iPhone for your app on the iPhone, where it says write a comment, that's where the diamond shape is with the V in it. So the little it's in the comment section.
Mhm. Right, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we'll see. And then the hosts, once they get so many, they can cash them out. So, so it's a way to show some love. Like I said, they're very inexpensive. Like I said, I got mine pretty cheap, so it's not set up to support Vcoin on iPhone yet. Okay, so you know, all right. So we talked about you know my indiscretion. We also talked about people taking insurance policies out on you, your employer. Um, Another thing I want to talk about in this last day is um, okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on as far as people are worried about what's going on in the streets, right? We won't use the term that
Hmm.
people are using. See, but everybody now wants to be a survivalist, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So even myself, right? I wasn't a big gun person, but now I'm trying to become, get proficient with weaponry.
Right.
And also, everybody is like, if you own stock in a toilet paper company, you probably are really happy right now, right?
Right.
Or if you have a lot of it, you probably could sell them on the street corner for a lot. Um, or Perel. I mean, I know Perel must be doing wonderful.
Well, but it's like if you get too much of it and have like 17,000 bottles of it, they kind of step in and stop you from selling it and making a bunch of money, and then they make you just decide whether you're going to give it to the attorney general's office, or if you're going to go to court over it. So that's
Yeah.
what happened. That's what happened to the boys in Tennessee.
Oh wow. See, I didn't know that. I have a lot.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
have a lot, but I always have a lot. So
yeah.
you know.
Well, they went around. They went around and bought up as much as they could. And they wound up and they sold a bunch. They sold some, and they wound up with seven. They still had 17,000 bottles of it. And eBay and Amazon froze their accounts so they couldn't sell anymore because it was considered price gouging.
Mhm.
The Tennessee Attorney General stepped in, and I think they were like going, "Okay, you have two choices. You can give us this so that we can give it to people who need it, or we'll go ahead." I said, "You can keep it, and then we'll go ahead and start filing charges on you."
Oh wow. Why can't they just buy it at market value from them?
I think at that point there was. I mean, this guy they were selling them, and oh, we got like 80 to it's like 60 to 80, and like up one bottle got like $120 for it. And like, holy crap! Now it's like, and then of course, yeah. So when you hoard and try to sell and make a profit, then eventually you're going to get caught.
Right. Well, I mean, look, I could have done the same. I chose not to,
Right.
you know. But it makes me think though, If we had to live off the grid, okay, so yesterday the power went off.
Mm-hmm.
It was off for about 2 hours. I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do the show yesterday, right? And it made me think, what if there was no electricity?
Mm-hmm.
What if there was no gas?
Right.
What if there was no water going into your home? How many of us could make do with that?
Um, for me, electric, I could manage without electric. One thing I actually have a fireplace in my house, and it's a working fireplace. So, as far as cooking, if the electric went off and the gas went off, I'd still be okay that way. Now, water wise, I don't have any kind of a backup plan on water.
Mm.
um, Never really. It's like hadn't really seen the real need for it. I'm not that much of a I'm not that much of a prepper. I've
Right.
got I have a as far as I said, I bought one thing of like the freeze dried food, and I think it would last like for two people. It would last like 2 weeks, and since it's just me, it would last almost a month, or it might be a little bit longer. I don't remember now what I got. I got one of the smaller packets of stuff, and it has a shelf life of 25 years. So I bought it 3 years ago, so I've still got 22 years left to go before I need to break into them, break into it, and eat it before it goes bad.
Right.
Uh, um, and like I said, as far as water, uh, that would be one of those things that, in other words, you can live. I mean, you can last quite a few days without actual food. You don't last. It said you can't last long without some sort of water or some sort of liquid to drink of some sort, whether it's soft drinks or milk or whatever. But you like 3 or 4 days is all. So you start to dehydrate after I think it's like 3 days or 4 days
Right.
without water. So for me, I said I'm good on cooking this stuff because like if I have to, I'll cut a tree down in the yard if I have to, and use that to cook and stuff. And as far as electric, I can it's like I don't need to have electric. Get blankets or whatever. I could survive without electric or water or electric or gas. It would be uncomfortable, and I could make provisions and survive without that. Without water, yeah, I'm gonna be in trouble in a few days. What about you, Kente?
Right now, currently, I mean, not with this stuff going on aside.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
was
we're not looking at what's going on right now. Just all of a sudden, boom, everything was off.
no, I'm not prepared at all. And I think one thing that this has taught us is you got to be prepared for everything.
Right,
And we're fortunate, right? Because even with this quarantine and stuff, we can still go to the store and stuff like that. But
right,
what if we couldn't? What if we really couldn't, right? Like, do we have canned food that would, that could sustain us? And do we have access to water or any kind of, beverage, that would keep us, uh, hydrated and stuff like that? No. It,
right.
it hardly ever rains here, even though it rained a lot when this first started.
Hmm.
So you can't even use really rainwater because it doesn't rain much. So um, it's something to think about, and it's something I've thought about for the last couple of years. As you know, I'm buying property in Arkansas, and one of the things that's so good because it's big, it's going to be a lot of land, is
Hmm.
that I want to create a place where I could fall back to in case society.
You want to live off grid. Now, the thing with nowadays with the living off the grid, it's a lot easier to do now than it was 10 years ago
Right.
because they have made such advancements in the technology, and solar energy is getting up there. They have yeah, I mean you have solar ovens and solar stoves that you cook just like you do on your regular. So you just about, I mean, you can cook a meal just like you cook it on your stove at home with gas. You can do it with solar, and it can be somewhat of a cloudy day, and it has some of the sun grills have solar panels on them that when it's a sunny day, you set it out there, and it will store power.
Mm,
It'll store power so you can run it like up an evening when there's no sun.
right.
And as far and something I've not looked into it yet to see what it's all about, but I've been seeing things about it's like the water. In other words, your water. There's some new gimmick that they're like I said. It's I've seen it on Facebook and just haven't dug into it to see what it actually is. But somehow you can cut the cut the pipe to the water utilities to the water company because you can make your own water somehow.
Mm.
Um, some of that it gets into it's like I don't know. Did you ever watch? You remember the movie Biodome?
I remember. Yeah.
Okay, biodome. In other words, you have condensation that you can hang a plastic, sheet of plastic up. The sun hits it, and at certain temperatures, in other words, it creates condensation. Like I said, that's a simple explanation. There's a science behind it and everything, but you can actually trap water on plastic and by condensation, and that will give you water. And it's like big enough piece of plastic will give you a fair amount of water each day. So there are ways to do it, but the other way to do it is you set out a rain barrel. But if it doesn't rain very much where you're at, that's not going to help you. And it's like so in a more of a desert climate place, I'm not sure other than getting out the old divining rods and start walking around the yard till you find water and dig down and get it.
I do a rain dance.
Yeah, it's like do a rain dance, but it's like it's like use the old divining rods. That's how they find stuff or find water lines. A lot of times they use the divining rods. It's like two brass rods that are so long and bent. You got like a 90-degree bend on them, and you hold them in your hand. You start walking around, and eventually the rods actually cross over and make an X.
Mm.
And where they do that, so when they do that, there's water in the ground, under the ground, wherever they cross that, you start digging down. You know, it may be 20 feet down, but or it might be 5 feet, it might be a foot, it might be a couple feet down, it might be 10 feet, it might be 50 feet down. I don't know, but it's like but your divining rod will actually find water.
We fine, man. Let me see. Divining rod. Do they sell those on
Hmm.
Amazon? Let me see.
Oh, I bet they. I bet they do. Yeah.
Let's see. Divine. Oops, can't spell. Divining rod. Oh God.
And it's very simple looking. All it is like I said, a piece of a sort of brass rod that
Oh, I
is,
see it right
I don't
here.
know. Did you find them?
$20. You get two for
Huh?
$20. I mean,
There you go.
Prime.
And like I said, you just kind of hold them loosely in your hand, walk around, and start walking, and they'll kind of move back and forth as you're from you walking. You try, hold your hands out in front of you, and then eventually they just all of a sudden they'll just cross over and make an X. And when they do, that's where you dig for the water.
What if it does that in front of a woman's crotch?
That means her water's about to break. You better run.
Oh boy, crazy. Okay. I'm gonna pick me up a divining rod. You know what? We're gonna do an unboxing. Rod. Oh wow! I'm gonna get me a divining rod.
There you go. That's how they do it in the country.
Okay.
They looking for if they're looking for well water or trying they looking for well water. That's you take a divining rod. Somebody knows how to use them. You get somebody who knows how to use a set of divining rods and you go out there and you find water.
Uh-huh.
I played with a set a few times over the years, or back in my younger years.
Is it also called dowsing rod?
Yes, dowsing rods or divining rods. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Okay. I'm gonna play around. I'm gonna be just walking around looking for water. It's kind of
You know where you're at.
seems like a Ouija board.
Yeah, it does, but it's like it does
It's the
work though.
devil doing it.
It's the devil doing it. It's the devil made me do it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should just order it right now. Dowsing rod, and it comes with a booklet
Mm-hmm.
on how to do it. If I get it, I got 4 days, and it's gonna come. If I order it right now,
Do it. Do it. Do
I
it.
should. And some, I'm gonna get that and some quinoa.
Well, see now, when you get that property out there, so when you get that property, um, it's like you can kind of play around with it, and like in your yard, you can. It's like I don't know. Do you have much of a yard, or not really a yard,
Oh, there, yeah,
or
I got nothing but.
no? I mean, where you're at now, do you have much of a yard or not?
I mean, it's not. Well, I do, but in the back, it's cement was laid down. I'm gonna get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do have a yard. Yeah.
Well, I think it'll work through. I think it'll work over cement too. But in other words, like playing around it, so you can goof around with it at your house, and you can have. I said you. It's like walk around, and when they cross, you know, put you a mark there, and then look around in your yard, find the water meter, and you can trace your water line going into the house, to see if it actually found water.
Okay. All right. All right. With that said, how can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Olaf Barbosa, but as I always say, don't follow too close because I do get nervous and I do have an itchy trigger finger.
You can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram. And I want you guys to be safe. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Hug. Well, you can't hug your family. Wave, at a distance to your family. And God bless. You guys have a great one. Peace.
Thanks for listening.